Welcome, everybody, to a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video today. And this week sees the introduction of a new hero in the MCU, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, hitting store shelves along with the horror mystery Malignant, the horror drama Saint Maud, and Paramount Pictures is releasing a Blu-ray edition of the 1978 fantasy, sports, romantic comedy Heaven Can Wait. Plus much more. So let's go see the deals, exclusives, and we are at our first location, Walmart. So let's go in and see what they got. Alright, everybody, we are in at Walmart with this great display for Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. Look at this. This is cool, man. This is really awesome. Walmart barely ever does any displays anymore. So this is kind of cool. Like, my Walmart does jack shit anymore with these things. So the fact that they got it in is awesome. That's really friggin' cool. Oh, that's sweet. Not bad, man, especially for a nice little display. I can definitely dig it, man. Great. I'm seeing we got the Blu-ray digital of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We've got the 4K Blu-ray digital and the DVD. Now, the 4K is $29.96. I have no idea what the Blu-ray is, nor do I have any idea what the DVD is either. The pricing is not up here, so your guess is as good as mine, at least for the time being, guys. But they definitely do have the Shang-Chi love. Not bad. I mean, the Blu-ray and the DVD does have the same artwork, but the 4K is different, and you know how I like different artwork depending on formats. So that is very cool. Witness the origin of a new MCU superhero. Yes. Haha. Another phase and more heroes to introduce. Now, do you remember Iron Man 3? Of course you do. You're an MCU lover, after all. Of course you love every single MCU entry, right? Right. Well, here's the thing about Iron Man 3. Remember when they introduced the Mandarin and everyone got so excited, so incredibly anticipated for this stuff, man? And then they saw the movie. Spoiler alert. He's not the Mandarin. I know, right? Crazy. But it is true, because they faked you out. Fooled you. They absolutely fooled you in the biggest, baddest way. Yeah, he was only an actor impersonating the Mandarin. It was this whole huge conspiracy with these people that used the Mandarin persona as sort of a front to their evil doings. Yeah, a lot of people got pissed by it. They really did, man. They felt burned, put it that way. I enjoyed the twist. I thought the twist was kind of cool, but not everyone tended to appreciate the twist. So, yeah, they kind of had to backpedal a little bit. They did this MCU little short on one of the physical media releases called Hail to the King, where they had Ben Kingsley in jail who pretended to be the Mandarin, and there was representatives of the real Mandarin, and so they kind of hinted at that point that there is a Mandarin out there at some point. But Shang-Chi finally brings the Mandarin front and center. Yes. We teased you enough. It's time to show you the real thing, damn it. Yes. And so Shang-Chi finally did, man. Basically, it's about this young man named Shang-Chi who is the son of this man called the Mandarin. He's been called many things over the years and the decades and the generations, but one of them was the Mandarin. And the idea that he's part of this sort of crime syndicate, this man has these powers, he doesn't seem to age, and he wants to pass down his legacy to Shang-Chi, and he's resisting it at every corner. He's trying to get away from it. But destiny, well, destiny's a fickle bitch. And so eventually he gets roped in and has to save the day against his own father. Man, that's some deep shit. Indeed it is, man. But the man for the task is Shang-Chi. Damn right it is. So I went into this movie, I got to admit, first of all, I loved the trailer. I thought the trailer was really awesome, very dynamic. I sort of dug the Asian influence. I thought it was a nice difference to the MCU, something we definitely haven't really experienced before. So I went in kind of interested. I really didn't know anything about Shang-Chi as a character or the comic books or any of that stuff. I mean, I've read a lot of comic books when I was a kid, but I was more of the popular ones. Obviously, Spider-Man and Thor, Captain America, you name it, stuff like that. These lesser heroes like Shang-Chi and some of the other ones coming up are ones that I haven't really dived into. So it was kind of fascinating to me to sort of re-engage with the MCU on a different level that I hadn't really done before. So I was kind of intrigued by that. And I got to admit, I really dug this movie. I thought it was pretty fucking awesome, actually. Simu Liu, who plays Shang-Chi, is dynamic in the role. He truly is. He can do the action. He's a sympathetic hero. You care for him. You understand his struggles and his dilemmas. He really pulls off Shang-Chi in a really great way. Awkwafina, who I'm not always a fan of Awkwafina. Sometimes I am, but not always. She's great here as well. She's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, some sort of clunky, funny moments at times, but overall, she has a good heart, a really good character, and for the most part, she does pull off the funny bits to sort of keep the humor going. Michelle Yeoh, absolutely amazing. Michelle Yeoh is fantastic in practically everything she does, this included. And Tony Leung, man, playing the Mandarin. Dude, that guy is fucking awesome. Kick ass in this role, man. He is a great bad guy in this movie, man. You fear him, but yet you're fascinated by him. And just when you think you figured him out, he ends up doing something really unexpected and twisted. And I really love it, man. He's amazing here. I thought the characters were really fantastic, really well thought out, well drawn, I thought. The action is amazing here, especially the choreography fight scenes. There's like one on a bus, which is really, really amazing. It reminded me of something that you see out of like one of the Matrix movies or something. Incredibly well done. The fight stuff was really awesome. The CGI is incredible. I love the fantasy elements here as well, bringing another extra dynamic to the MCU as well, opening the door for more interesting mystical elements that we might not have had before. It kind of opens the doors to new areas of the MCU, which is really appreciated as well. You know, it's interesting because MCU has done over 20 some odd films, right? And the formula is there. We kind of know the formula. And it's not that this movie diverges too much from the formula, but at the same time, it does try some things new and interesting that I definitely appreciated. For the MCU, it does get a little tough at times because you're getting away from the popular characters. Captain America is gone, and Iron Man is gone, and Hulk is sort of on the sidelines at this point, and certain characters are done. And now having to reintroduce all new characters again, and having to re-engage with new storylines and bring back anticipation again, they reach such huge heights. And now having to try to go back to the drawing board is never easy. But I give Marvel a lot of credit, man, to sort of go deep into their catalog to bring out something like Shang-Chi, which was really amazing and really awesome and really surprised the hell out of me. This was really, really fantastic. I know there's a certain amount of people that do want to cut ties with the MCU after Avengers Endgame. They kind of feel like they reached such huge heights that to try to come back from that is damn near impossible. But I would say still give Shang-Chi a chance, man, because it will definitely surprise you. It definitely surprised me in a big bad way. Highly, highly recommend this one. Incredible entertainment. And the MCU, they definitely pulled it off yet again. Damn worth it. Absolutely. Pretty damn solid, man. And what a great one within this next phase. Where it goes next, who knows, but I definitely digged it. I definitely did, man. Not bad, man. What a really great display. Look at this. How cool is that, man? A display that's fit for a great fucking movie. Damn right, man. The next Marvel legend has arrived, You damn right he has. Absolutely, man. Not bad at all. Not bad. Let's see what else they got. Oh, don't tell me. They're back, aren't they? They are in Trolls Holiday in Harmony? Okay, and yet another display. Jeez, 2 in 1 week? They got a fever, and I'm liking it. I truly am, dude. Wow, another Trolls movie. Just in time for the holidays, huh? Hey, and it includes a sticker sheet as well for all the kiddies out there. Kids do love stickers. Hell, I do. Hell, everybody loves stickers. Come on, man. The holidays are better together. Well, that's what they say. Oh, man, another holiday Trolls movie. Of course, man. You gotta make that money somehow. You do indeed. Poppy is planning a secret gift swap for all the Trolls Kingdom. You don't say. When both Poppy and Branch end up drawing each other's name, things take an unexpected turn. Both are at a loss, finding the perfect gift for the most important troll in their lives. Yeah. Good luck. I do that shit every single year with my mother, and that shit ain't easy. Hell no, man. Meanwhile, Tiny Diamond comes down with a bad case of writer's block. Can have a holiday rap for his dad. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, man. More Trolls goodness, I suppose. Let's be real. Trolls is like crack for kids. I mean, it really is. You want me to be real? It honestly is, man. With the bright colors splashing in your face, puking it all over the kiddies, man. Yeah, the kiddies can't resist. Bright colors, cute characters, sing-along moments. Yeah. They eat it up all the time. They truly do, man. It's not for me, it's for the kiddies, and, well, I gotta at least appreciate that, man. And it's Trolls. Kids love this shit. They really do, man. So yet another Trolls one worth diving into. Of course it is. They also have some more of the holiday movies as well over here. I mean, they have the old school How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Amazing, Charlie Brown, Scooby-Doo. The live action one, which I always love, Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Oh my god. The New School Grinch, Elf, Dolly Parton. I'm still sort of perplexed by this, guys. Like, Dolly Parton equals Christmas? What? Whatever. And they also have some old school love with Rudolph, Frosty as well. Not bad. Of course, we got a little How to Train Your Dragon Christmas stuff as well. Oh, Christmas all the time now. 'Tis the season, I suppose. But don't forget, there is Hanukkah as well. And I'm just waiting until the day when Trolls do a Hanukkah special. God help us all. Oh, God help us all indeed, man. In the meantime, more kitty troll love and yet another display from Walmart. Weird and crazy, I know, but hey, I'm liking it. Wish this trend would continue. Let's hope. In the meantime, let's say goodbye to the Trolls and let's see what else they got. And then over on this section, guys, yeah, it's Mother's Hubbard cover. What do you expect, man? I mean, seriously, are you all that surprised? Yeah, you're not, guys. I mean, I will admit this, though. Jungle Cruise has really sold. I mean, they did have the 4K and the Blu-ray, but it's pretty much almost sold out. We have like a couple DVDs, which... why? The movie's not as good as people really think it is. But it's Disney, so people just eat this shit up anyways. They really do, man. I mean, anything Disney, people gobble up like a motherfucker. Even the not-so-great ones, too. Well, there you go. That proves the theory. Everybody loves Disney, apparently. They have that. They do have those prices for Shang-Chi. The DVD for $19.96 and the Blu-ray for $24.96. Not bad on those. They still have at least a couple left of that Suicide Squad only at Walmart exclusive, which was that cool sort of lenticular one, which is not bad either. I mean, they have the older stuff, Snake Eyes, Old, Respect, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Reminiscence. So they do have some of the older stuff, of course, all that Hallmark Christmas goodness as well. Of course. Of course they do. But nothing as far as more of the newer releases. Was hoping for more, but, well, I only got a little. Surprise, surprise. Of course. Let's head out. Well, I suppose a little is definitely gonna have to go a long way this time, guys. Not as much as I was hoping, but actually better than I thought. Okay, think about it like this, right? I'm walking into this Walmart. Can you really blame me when I say they're not gonna have anything? I'm just gonna go into Walmart and say, hey, better luck next time. That's what I thought I was gonna say. But actually, they surprised me just a little bit with two standees. One for a movie that definitely deserves it, another one for Trolls? Seriously? Ah, shit, I'll take it. What the hell? Beggars can't be choosers, okay? Let's be real on that, man. So they did have a little bit of new release love this week. Not all of the new release love that I was hoping for, but this is Walmart, okay? I'll take what I can get. Because we've had weeks where we've literally seen zippity-doo-dah. So something, in this case, is always better than nothing, okay? Not too bad. A little bit of standee love, some new release love as well. And for this Walmart, I'll definitely take it, man. I hope you will as well. But there is more new releases to check out. So let's go exploring. All right, everybody, we are at our second location, Target. But before I go in, I gotta talk to you guys about something. Now, as we know, Marvel has really been hitting out of the park over and over and well over again. And yet, not everyone is a fan of Marvel. Particularly, some high-profile directors are not. I mean, we've seen Martin Scorsese not be a fan, Denis Villeneuve, and now add another one to the list, Ridley Scott. Yes, he was doing promo for the House of Gucci and was asked about superhero movies, whether he'd do one, what does he think about them, and, well, this is what he had to say. Almost always, the best films are driven by the characters. And we'll come to superheroes after this if you want, because I'll crush it. I'll fucking crush it. They're fucking boring as shit. Their scripts are not any fucking good. I think I've done 3 great scripted superhero movies. Ridley has done superhero movies? One would be Alien with Sigourney Weaver, one would be fucking Gladiator, and one would be the one I did with Harrison Ford. Ah, yes, Blade Runner. Wait a minute, those are superhero movies? Really? Well, he says they're superhero movies. So why don't the superhero movies have better stories? Sorry, I got off the rail, but I mean, come on. They're mostly saved by special effects, and that's becoming boring for everyone who works with special effects, if you've got the money. Ah, okay, he's done with them. They're boring. I mean, if he did it, he'd crush it. In fact, he says he's already crushed it as it is. I mean, he says he's done 3 of them. I don't really consider those 3 movies superhero films, but sure, if Ridley thinks they are, have at it, brother. I mean, this is a growing list of directors. And by the way, it actually continues because I have another article as well from another director, Jane Campion. Now, Jane Campion is releasing her movie, The Power of the Dog. And she ended up actually, again, talking about superheroes. She says she actually hates them. I think it's safe to say that I will never do that. They're so noisy and, like, ridiculous. Sometimes you get a good giggle, but I don't know what the thing is with the capes, a grown man in tights. I feel it must come from some other weird geek culture. I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them as well-made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't cinema. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being. However, Pedro Almodovar, who is another great director, tells them that he wouldn't mind offering his take on superheroes. I would like to do something with Batgirl, but I would have to do it in my own way. Boy, there seems to be a lot of differing opinions, I would say, about superhero films. And I've told you guys before that there is a certain amount of fatigue right now with superhero movies. Yes, but this is going to very ridiculous lengths. I mean, come on. I mean, these directors, and look, I love all these directors. They're really great. They do wonderful movies, great stories, interesting characters. So I'm a fan of their work. But what's exactly the point of hating on a certain genre of movies? Okay, if you're not into them, that's fine. That's not your bag, baby. But what is the actual result of not liking them and saying it? Like, where does that get you exactly, is what I want to know. I mean, there has always been, with Hollywood, popular movies that when they are as big as they are, everyone goes after them. There was the Western craze. Everybody is going to do Western movies because Western movies were selling and they're big and they're making a lot of money, so Hollywood keeps on churning them out and over and over again. Of course, the whole idea with dancing and musicals. Musicals at one point were a huge thing, and everybody kept making musicals over and over and over and over again. It was getting kind of ad nauseum at some point, right? The same thing with everybody hating on, like, the horror movies back in, like, the 80s or something. There was all these critics and all these filmmakers, well, these horror movies, well, the other special effects and the gore and everything like that. I mean, so at a certain point, Hollywood always latches on to something that's popular. It's happened over many, many generations, many decades, and superhero comic book movies are no different. So I don't know why these directors feel the need to have to go and say, well, they're shit, they're boring, they're terrible, they're not art, they're not cinema. Everything has its place within the movie dome, I should say. Everything does, if you really think about it. Because horror movies have their place, just as romantic comedies do, just as superhero movies do, you know, insane, wacky comedies, dramas, thrillers, action movies, you name it. Everything has their place in cinema. And who's to say what's cinema and what's not? Right? You out there could love straight to video movies. Movies that aren't really shot all that well and they're kind of cheapo, but as long as you enjoy them, as long as you have entertainment through them, then they are considered cinema. And it's the same thing with comic book movies. It's the same thing with these weird, ridiculous, cheesy movies. I mean, look, there is so many movies from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s that when they came out were considered crap. They were considered terrible. They weren't considered cinema. They were looked down upon, right? Lower than crap. And then years later, we revere them. We consider them classics. I think time will tell how we think about comic book movies, how we think about superhero films. But to just shrug them off, to just put them to the side and say that they're not cinema and they're not true art, it takes a village to make a movie, okay? It takes an absolute village. It takes so much effort and so much manpower to make a film as it is. It doesn't matter what film it is. It takes so many people to make a movie or a TV show art in general. And to just brush that aside and to say that the movies are crap and just call it a day, there's a lot of great stories. Comic books have a lot of really great tales to tell. And so translating that into cinema can produce some really great results. There's certain movies out there like The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is considered a masterpiece. That's a comic book superhero movie. So you're telling me that those don't count, that those aren't cinema, that those are shit? The original Superman with Christopher Reeves, considered art. I mean, come on, man. We can't just label them as boring and call it a day. There's so much more to them than meets the eye. But when we're willing to just shrug them off like that, that doesn't do anybody any good. That doesn't at all, man. There's a place for everything in cinema. There's a place for superhero movies. Whether you like them or not, you have to appreciate them. And these filmmakers will eventually, at some point, have to get their head out of their ass and have to realize that these movies have an importance. They don't have to agree on it, but they at least have to accept it. But there's more calls for all these filmmakers out there that are resisting the love for comic book movies. I get it, but everything is proper place. A lot of the stuff that they do at times isn't always cinema either, or at least I don't consider it good cinema. But I still accept it because they're artists. And they have to do the same for the superhero movies. Just saying, they have to. Let me know what you guys think about that. Very, very interesting. There is a certain amount of fatigue, but sometimes it goes to ridiculous levels. Kind of like this. Let me know what you guys think about that. In the meantime, there is decent physical media out there. Let's hope we find it. Walmart didn't have a lot, but hey, Target has been good to us as of late, and let's hope they continue that streak. Let's go in and check it out. All right, everybody, we are in at Target, and look at the movie love, the new release love. So much more plentiful than Walmart, obviously. I love coming into Target every single week now. That's crazy to say, but they continue to supply the new release love, and I'm a very happy boy. Let's dive in, shall we, with the first thing I'm seeing, and that is none other than Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. The DVD only for $19.99, the Blu-ray digital for $24.99, the 4K Blu-ray digital for $29.99, and oh, lest we forget, a little only at Target love, the 4K Blu-ray digital exclusive for $34.99. Nice, it includes 2 limited edition foil etched prints. The art design exclusive. Nice. Interesting design, actually. You want to know what this reminds me of? Like an advertisement for the Olympics. I'm serious. Look at this, man. It looks like they're basically advertising the next Olympics. I mean, hey, if the Olympics is like this, shit, I'll watch every single time. Damn right I will. Nice, man. Interesting indeed. That's pretty cool. Let's talk about a little Asian representation in film. It's kind of interesting to me because with Shang-Chi, we finally get our first ever Asian superhero, at least like front and center, the main attraction, the main lead, the one that's carrying the film, right? And that's a big effing deal, man. That is a big thing. And it's nothing to sort of rub your nose at. It's something to basically cheer and celebrate. But Asian representation in film hasn't always had the best of luck. I don't know if you remember the old school Green Hornet show, but Kato, anybody? I mean, Kato was kick-ass, and it was cool to see that character, but he was always the sidekick to Green Hornet, when he should have much rather been the lead. You know what I'm saying? Easily should have been the lead, man. So much more kick-ass than Green Hornet ever was. But again, Asian representation, lower on the totem pole. I mean, you even look at something like The Donger. Okay, look, I love 16 Candles. I think 16 Candles is amazing, right? Funny as hell. But you got to admit, it definitely is a stereotype, all right, man? I mean, funny as it is, it's basically one Asian stereotype after another. Hey, man, it is what it is, right? I mean, you even look at the Jackie Chan stuff, what he was doing in America, is even something like Rush Hour, right? I mean, look, I love Rush Hour. Don't get me wrong. Again, dig Rush Hour. But the idea of the Japanese guy not being able to understand American culture, yeah, it's been done many, many times before, man. I mean, I think that there has been moments where it's been quite good for Asian representation. You look at Star Trek. I mean, you look at George Takei playing Sulu. That was a big deal, man. That was a big freaking deal about an Asian who was helping to control the ship. That's a big deal, man. That was a big opportunity, especially for back in the day. You got to really appreciate that. And it was definitely something that I think Gene Roddenberry wanted. It was a true vision of being very inclusive. You got to give him a lot of credit for that one. You really honestly do, man. But it's not like that's the only thing. There is more, kind of like John Cho. Harold and Kumar, man. I mean, Asians can smoke weed as good as anybody can. I mean, seriously. Look, there has been a lot of really great Asian representation out there. Crazy Rich Asians is something that's just really phenomenal, fantastic. Snake Eyes, okay, Snake Eyes is not really all that good, guys, but again, an Asian in the lead, okay, it's at least a start, I should suppose. You know, but for every Crazy Rich Asians, a good representation, something that moves it forward, there also happens to be an Aloha. Oh, you don't remember Aloha? Oh, I do. Yeah, Emma Stone played an Asian in that movie. Look that up. True story. Emma Stone, one of the whitest, palest chicks, ended up playing an Asian. What the fuck? Damn. Oh, Lord. That was embarrassing. I mean, seriously. Yeesh. You know, every time you take a couple steps forward, there ends up being a couple steps backwards. You know what I'm saying? It happens to be that way a lot, man. But I think we're getting there slowly but surely, right? It's taking a lot of time. I mean, obviously, women being superheroes and everything, that's gotten a big jump over the years. And I think the same thing with Shang-Chi. I think that Asian representation in movies is getting stronger. It truly is. It just takes time. It's hard for Hollywood to adjust to things, let's be real, man. But I was really happy to see them taking a gamble on this property, taking a gamble on this character that not many people know, which is kind of a little obscure, and putting it in the forefront. I think it was a bold move to do. It's something that maybe wouldn't instantly pay off, or something that might not be embraced by everybody, but if the movie is good, then it will be embraced by people. If the movie is bad, then it's just gonna get shunned, no matter who's in the lead or not. And thankfully, Shang-Chi ended up proving to be quite successful and quite good. Sometimes Asian representation doesn't go far enough, sometimes it lacks at moments, but when it succeeds, it truly hits in a really great way. And Shang-Chi, especially for American audiences, happens to be one of the better ones. Just saying. I mean, the overseas stuff, look, like the Jackie Chans and the Bruce Lees and all that stuff, the overseas stuff, Asians get a lot of love, but it's American audiences that have had to sort of catch up a little bit. It's not easy to do. Sometimes we're behind the times. We'll eventually get there. And Shang-Chi is a pretty good start. You could be the next victim in Malignant. Ah, yes, the Blu-ray digital for $22.99, the DVD for $19.99. A little James Wan love, yes. Finally, a little horror. Not bad, man. So, I got a chance to watch this on HBO Max, and I wanted to because, look, I am a lover of horror movies, and I happen to be a fan of James Wan, so I figured, might as well give it a go. Now, what's really fascinating about this movie is that this film, and it's wild to me to say this, guys, this film divided a lot of horror lovers out there. You either really like this movie or you really hate it. There's really very few in-betweens with this film, man. And I just thought it was kind of crazy because out of every film that comes out every single year, many movies, Malignant is the one that divided people? Seriously? Okay? Sure, why the hell not, man? Alright. Basically, the movie is about this woman who's had a really rough life. She's tried to get pregnant many times, always lost a baby, she has an abusive boyfriend, and on top of all that, it seems like she's having weird visions of these grisly murders that come true. Somebody is around her doing these killings, and nobody really knows what's going on or how it's happening. Is she somehow involved? Is it somebody she knows? Is this person stalking her? There's really no telling until you dive deep into the mystery of Malignant. And when you find out what it is, boy, you're either gonna really love it or you're gonna really hate that shit. It ain't no in between on this one, man. That's for damn sure. I gotta admit, okay, I kind of slightly knew what to expect here. I had heard a few rumors here and there, but I didn't really know 100% about anything. It's an interesting film because it's kind of a slow burn in a little bit of ways. The whole idea of this murder mystery, and is she or is she not involved, and she's sort of blacking out, but when she comes to, people are dead. So is it all in her head? Is it real? Is she doing the killings herself? Like I said, there's a certain aspect of this murder mystery that kind of drags out a little bit. And that's a big problem. The first half of the movie, at least in my opinion, is kind of a slog to get through. It really is. I'm being honest, man, because I've seen so many horror films over the years about these murder mysteries, and you know that she's involved somehow with it, some way, shape, or form. But the movie takes its sweet time getting there, and it just feels mundane, and it just feels boring, and been there, done that, and you're just waiting for something exciting to happen. I mean, when something exciting does happen, it's really wild, it's over the top, it's fun as hell. But again, you have to go through over half of the movie in order to get there. And that's a big fucking problem, man. It's not good. I mean, another problem that this movie has is that it tries to go for these red herrings, right? Well, it could be this demonic entity or a shadow creature or whatever like that. But when it's revealed what it actually is, I mean, it's a cool reveal, don't get me wrong, but all the red herrings never make any sense. I mean, on a first watch, it's fine, but trying to rewatch it, you're like, that shit doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It just is kind of something to add to throw you off the scent, but it doesn't really work at the end of the day. I appreciate what they were trying to do with the movie and what James Wan was trying to go for, and you can see that he's a huge fan of certain old school movies out there. You really can, man, and you can tell that he really loves the genre and he really cares for it. I mean, if he didn't care for it, he wouldn't be making horror movies. Let's be real, guys. But I don't think this movie really came together the way it was. I think he was trying to tell a wild, crazy, ridiculous story. And I think the problem is that he was trying to make it more mainstream than it needed to be. And I think that's the ultimate problem with the movie. I think it's too mainstream. I think it's almost like holding itself back a little bit. Like, it wants to really go there. And when it does, it's really phenomenal. And you could tell that James Wan is having all the fun in the world with it. But in order to get there, you've got to get through all of this mundane murder mystery stuff that really isn't all that interesting until the reveal happens, and then it really kicks into high gear. Let's put it this way. This movie is not original, okay? It's been done a time or two, and if you read into the actual title of the movie, you kind of get where the movie's going. Malignant, like malignant tumor on your body. Yeah, it kind of gives it away. If you didn't realize what was going on in the movie and didn't get that from the title, man, shame on you. I mean, seriously, I appreciate the effort. I really do. And I give him a lot of credit for trying, man. I mean, I haven't really seen a mainstream movie try to go for this, like, in a long ass time, man. So I give credit for James Wan trying this, and if anyone was gonna do it, it might as well be James Wan, because he's got the clout to do it. He's made a ton of money for the studios, and he had this really great idea, a ridiculous, wild, over-the-top idea that probably was going to confuse and piss a lot of people off. But the studio's like, hey, it's James, man. We'll give him a lot of money for this. What the hell? And he knows what he's doing. No, they can't all be winners. I mean, again, the effort is worth it. I truly do believe that. And it's nice to see old school horror repackaged for a new generation. It really is. But at the end of the day, it didn't quite work out entirely the way that I was hoping it was. Again, if the entire movie was like the second half, I would have been amazed by this film. But again, it just feels like it's just holding itself back, that it can't really go to the wild place the entire film that it really wants to, that it needs to try to be that mainstream, average, mundane horror flick, and it could have been so much better. It's still good. It's still a very interesting movie to watch, especially the second half, and it's a wild experience. Oh, but you gotta get through some mundaneness in order to get there. An interesting effort that doesn't fully succeed, but is worth the journey. How far would you go to be saved? Well, me, I'm fucked, guys. But her, she takes the goddamn cake, man. Saint Maud, the Blu-ray digital for $24.99, man. Wow, and I'm really surprised to see this here at Target. I mean, indie horror at Target. How many times do we really see that? Man, that is a fucking rarity. Like, seriously, how many times do people literally come into Target and be like, hey, yeah, let's go to Target for some indie A24 weirdness? Yeah, ain't no one saying that shit, guys. Definitely nobody's saying that crap. Oh, man, this is an oddity to see here at Target, man. Probably one of the only times we'll ever really see indie horror here at Target. So take it while you can get it, folks, because it may not happen again. I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime, and I wanted to because everybody was really propping this movie up in a big bad way. I mean, only the best things said about this movie, everybody hyping it up big time. I mean, literally on the front cover here, it says a horror masterpiece. People were really giving this movie a lot of praise. And so I'm thinking to myself, God, well, if everybody is really loving this movie, if it's as good as everybody says it is, I definitely got to give it a go. So, well, ready or not, let's get into some horror religion. I mean, basically, it's about Maud, and she's this hospice nurse. She's very devoted to God. At some point, had been saved herself, and she's taking care of this woman who is close to being on death's door, to be honest with you. She doesn't really care. She's smoking. She's having parties. She's drinking. You know, having wild sex with prostitutes. I mean, everything that probably Maud literally loathes, this woman is doing. And so Maud makes it her mission to try to save this woman at any cost. Put it that way. So I gotta be honest with you guys. While watching this movie, this is a slow burn, okay? It's a very slow burn of this woman who believes in the Lord, believes in God, believes in being saved, but the way she's going about it, it's almost like religious fanaticism in many ways. I mean, it truly is. And it is one of those slow mental breakdown burns of a film where it's not like the horror is really heavy-handed and everything. It's more of like it's slowly getting to the point where this woman is going to lose it. And you see the evolution of her mental state throughout the film. And that's pretty much what this is. I got to admit, even though the payoff is pretty good, and I do like the payoff, and I really appreciated diving into religious horror and mental breakdowns and how you can really lose yourself within religion, I thought it was a little bit mundane. I thought it was a little bit kind of boring. I mean, I don't mind slow burns. I really do. Something like a House of the Devil, which I really appreciate, man. I think that movie's awesome, and that's a slow burn. There's a lot of really great slow burn horror that I love. This movie is not as interesting as I thought it was going to be. It's not a terrible movie by far. It is a pretty solid, good little horror flick, but to me, it wasn't as great as everybody said it was. Put it that way. Maybe the movie is overhyped. Maybe people gave it too much praise. I'm not sure, but I wasn't as into it as everybody else was. I mean, I still appreciated it. And I think the most thing that I appreciated from it is the idea of what would you do for your God? What would you do for religion? And everything around you is trying to tell you something. Do you take it as one way or do you take it as another? The movie definitely reminded me of something like Frailty with Bill Paxton, where the idea of getting these messages from God and how you interpret them, and these people are evil and you have to save them and potentially kill them. I mean, it's really fascinating stuff to really dive into, because again, I think that's what makes horror really interesting, is the idea of beliefs and the idea of what you believe in and how far you will go for that belief. And I think that's really fascinating stuff, man. I truly, honestly do. So I think a movie like Saint Maud is really perfect in exploring that. And I think it really is fantastic in that one way alone. But you never really get to know Maud. She's just this religious, fanatic, creepy chick out there. You never really get to know her background and who she is. You get little blips and blobs of moments that maybe tell you a little bit here and there, but nothing really concrete. And you don't really get to sympathize with her enough to really care for her, at least in my own opinion. It's just this really weird, crazy religious fanatic who's out there among us and trying to convert us. Okay, cool, I get it. I'll just watch The Eyes of Tammy Faye for that shit. But I don't know, man. Like, to me, I really appreciate it when she loses it. When she goes nuts towards the end of the film and she's seeing imagery and she thinks that God is speaking to her and she's starting to attack people, like, that was really cool and that was really interesting. But again, in order to get there, it was kind of a slog to get through, kind of like Malignant. But here's the thing, though. I think Malignant is far more interesting of a slow burn, and the payoff is so much better than in Saint Maud. It definitely feels like something A24 would put out. Now look, I know I'm probably in the minority, right? I'm sure that a lot of you guys out there really love this movie, man. A lot of you guys probably really prop this up as being right next to The Exorcist or some shit. I don't agree with that, but I know some people really out there really are championing this film in a major way. I get it. Religious horror is very unique, and it can be done in a really spectacular way that really exposes religion for what it really is. The whole idea of fanaticism and the idea of these people out there who will do anything for, a book or a phrase or a meaning or a person. It really is wild. It really is interesting, and I really do appreciate it. I mean, as a study of religious fanaticism, it is quite intriguing seeing this woman look for any sign that's humanly possible, anything that's going on in her life that she could relate back to God, her devotion to it, frankly, her obsession. I mean, when you are thinking that God is making love to you and that you can save other people by the same means that you were saved, and trying to literally have God feel you inside of yourself, man, that's a whole nother level that I just cannot even comprehend, man. So for that, this movie is really interesting. But if you take that out, if you take the religious obsession out of it, there's not much left for the film, and that's really a problem. And I think that's really the issue. That's all this movie has, and that's the hook. And once you take that out, there's not really anything left to keep you intrigued, in my honest opinion. It's just a slow, mundane burn for the sake of being a slow, mundane burn. I appreciate A24. I appreciate these type of religious horror movie experiences. Trust me, there is some amazing stuff out there in the marketplace. There really is. Saint Maud is interesting for what it is, but I don't think it's perfect. And I think it's a movie that was, in my opinion, incredibly overhyped. And maybe if it wasn't as overhyped as it was, I would have been okay with it. But because everybody was really propping this movie up and really making it out to be one of the best religious horror experiences in the last 10, 20 years, it disappointed. And that's unfortunate because it's a decent movie, but it's not what everybody is saying it is. Put it that way. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate for it, but it's just my honest opinion. Decent, but doesn't quite take the cake. You know what I'm saying? But that chick, let's put it this way, I'm not inviting her over for Netflix and chill anytime soon. That's for damn sure, man. Quite intriguing. And they also have, by the way, they put in the front here that Blu-ray digital of the 9-movie collection of Fast and Furious. And I love how they put it right in the front here because they want to intrigue you to buy it, right? Oh, you want that 9-movie collection? Just say no, folks. Just say no. Look Vin Diesel right in the eye and say, fuck family. Just do it. I dare you. I double dog dare you. You're just paying for 9 movies, when honestly there will be other sets coming down the pike. Just wait till the goddamn thing is done and over with. Just do it. You'll be thankful you did, guys. Very interesting stuff so far. Very interesting indeed. Religious horror, weird horror, and Asian superheroes. Not bad. Not bad after all for Tarjay. I'll definitely take it. Let's head out. When all else fails, you get your ass to Target, damn it. Indeed you do. And that is so crazy to say, guys, because like a couple years ago, Target was like a dead zone, and now it's like one of the go-tos to go to check out new physical media love. And that's some wild shit, man. Indeed it is. But consistently, week in and week out, almost constantly, they really are supplying the new release love. And this week is no exception. They had the big name releases. They had the exclusive love. Hell, they even had indie A24 horror. What is going on? And they are supplying it all in a really great way, man. I definitely dig it. I have come to learn to appreciate Target quite a bit as of late, and this week continues the appreciation. I hope you can definitely appreciate it as well. As a physical media lover, it makes me a very happy boy. Oh, it always does, man. Not too bad this time around. Not bad at all. Let's hope for more physical media love on the way. All right, everybody, we are at our third location, the second Walmart. I'm going to go in and check out if there's any interesting indie titles worth showing off. If there is, I'll bring it back to Film Fan 108 HQ and show it off to each and every one of you. But before I do that, I got to talk about a trailer with you guys, and that is none other than Jack Reacher is coming to a small screen near you in the TV series coming to Amazon Prime, I believe in February of next year. Actually, right around the corner, man. Damn, more Jack Reacher love, huh? So, I got to admit to you, I really did not know about Jack Reacher, the character, until the Tom Cruise movies, okay? And then once the Tom Cruise movies happened, they're like, yeah, there's like so many books about Jack Reacher. And now I go into Target, and literally I'm always seeing like books about Jack Reacher. I'm like, oh my God, man, how many books are there? There's so many of them. It's a really popular book series, a really popular character. And so that's really cool to me, man, that book character that has been really popular, something that people have been very interested in, finally hitting their eyeballs and getting to see that character come to life. Now, here's the thing. I actually really did like that first Jack Reacher movie with Tom Cruise. I really did. It wasn't perfect, but I liked the way Tom Cruise was playing it. I liked the charm. I liked the charisma. I thought him doing the action was pretty good. But a lot of people were a little hesitant on the movie because apparently the way that Reacher is described in the book is not the way that Tom Cruise looks. Like, Tom Cruise is much more smaller, not exactly the type where you would think of Jack Reacher. But the movie was pretty well, and overall really well received. And then they made a sequel. And I gotta admit, man, as much as I love that first Jack Reacher movie, I really, and I mean seriously, I really do not like that second Reacher film. That is not good, man. I don't know what they were trying for, but I thought the action was sloppy. I thought the acting was really amateurish. The mystery drama plot stuff was really kind of boring. Man, it really failed hard. And so any more hoping for franchise possibilities with Reacher just went right out the door, man. And I think a lot of people felt like, man, that's it for Reacher. So much possibilities and such a letdown. And Amazon Prime was like, hey, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. There's still a lot of love for Reacher. We're still doing it. So we're going to put it out there. And damn glad that they did. So I watched the trailer, right? And I got to admit, the trailer does look good. It really does, man. I mean, I love the action here. I love this man who's going from town to town, situation to situation, and helping people out, finding killers, you name it, his past coming back to haunt him. I like that. I think it's really intriguing, and I think it works better as a TV show concept than it does as a movie. Because as a movie, with so many books, and movies usually take at least a couple years to make, if not longer, eventually the actor is going to get dried up, going to get too old for the role, and who knows? I mean, people lose interest over time. As a TV show, you could keep it going for a lot longer with the same actor. There's better possibilities. So I actually agree with this decision about putting it into a TV show format. And especially with Amazon Prime, I think it's going to be like 8 episodes. So it's going to be very lean, man. I mean, there's not going to be much filler here. Every episode is probably going to be jam-packed with action and suspense and great thrills. So there is that. So it's not going to be like, you know, a Walker, Texas Ranger situation where like there's like 24 episodes a season and it's like, oh, okay. It's like what cheesy shit is this week gonna have for us? I think it's gonna be a little bit more intense than that, man. You know, but I am worried about a couple things. One, the actor, I think his name is Alan Richson or something like that. I believe he was on Titans. He played Hawk. I'm sure he's a good actor. I've seen him in a couple other things. He's not bad. But this guy has to carry a whole series. He has to be Jack motherfucking Reacher, man. It seems from the trailer, he's doing the action part really well. Like in prison, beating the shit out of guys, you know, using his fisticuffs, you know, to really kick people's ass. It looks cool. It looks good. It looks like he can take care of business on that. It's the acting part that I'm a little bit shaky on, because this guy has to come across having a lot of charm and charisma, getting out of situations, not only by his fists, but by his intelligence as well. And this guy I know can pull off one thing. I'm hoping he can pull off the other. That was the one thing I really liked about Tom Cruise, because he had the charm, he had the persona that it could come across that he was a very clever guy in these situations. I'm hoping this guy has that. The trailer makes it out to seem that way, but as we know, trailers can kind of lie a little bit. So I don't know how true that is. Look, if he can pull it off, kudos to him, because I think it could come off really cool if he could. He's big, he's buff, he's strong, he's got that. But he's got to have the acting chops. From what everyone says on the internet, he looks like the character of Jack Reacher, somebody that you could definitely see. He does seem maybe a little bit young for people who are fans, but again, I think they're willing to go with it a little bit, especially if this is somebody that's going to be on this sort of Jack Reacher show for a long period of time. You want something a little bit younger so that he can kind of ease into it, and you have many, many, many seasons with the same person playing the role. It makes sense. I'm just worried about the acting part. Again, you can have big muscles, you can have big, you know, action chops, but again, if you're not good in the acting department, then it all goes to shit. Like, again, Arnold Schwarzenegger has big muscles and can do the action, but he's also at times can be a really solid actor. Same with Stallone and Van Damme and okay, Seagal not so much. And even Van Damme has his moments of not being great. But I mean, again, you have to pull everything off. You have to be Jack Reacher in every single facet of being that character. Can he? It's possible. I'm definitely up for it. I think Amazon Prime makes a lot of really great content out there, man. I love the stuff that they've done with other action shows out there. And I think Amazon Prime has made some really great content. So they're trying for yet another really action-packed series with Jack Reacher. Can they pull it off, though? Can they translate the books into a successful series? Easier said than done, but I'm going to give Amazon Prime the benefit of the doubt. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I definitely will check it out, man. Definitely let me know what you think about that. In the meantime, well, there's been some interesting media so far. But what will we see in the second Walmart? Let's go in and find out. All right, everybody, back in at the second Walmart, and last week ended up being a bust for here, well, honestly, pretty much everywhere. So, is it a bounce back for physical media, for the weirdness, the bizarreness, for the ridiculousness, for the cheesiness, for everything in between? Well, actually, yeah, it kind of is, guys, as the indie love is back, baby. Not a lot of indie love, a little bit, but as I always say, when it comes to indie bizarreness, a little bit goes a long way, baby. Indeed it does. And this batch, oh, it's definitely got some mileage in a big bad way. So, you know what that means. We are going to go back to Film Fan 108 HU, where you sat, yes, you, to show off all that movie-related love. You got to be ready, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. What are you doing exactly? What's it look like, bro? I'm working out. You working out? Well, now I've seen everything. Seen everything, huh? You ain't seen nothing until I beat your ass. Oh, I see, yes. Well, if it comes to a physical media fight, you're gonna have your hands full, motherfucker. You indeed will have your hands full. I'd go easy on you, though. I would go easy on you, you know. Kid gloves and all. Kid gloves? You wish. Oh, it is on, baby. It is on. One of these days, you and me are gonna tussle. When we do, it's gonna be an all-out battle, baby. In the meantime, I'll cut you a little slack this week, as long as you show off all that physical media love. Cut me some slack? Please. You couldn't take me if one fist was tied behind my back. You couldn't beat me in a physical fight. You couldn't beat me in a physical media fight. Get out of here, bro. What is he even talking about? He never gonna beat the master. Oh, he can try. But he ain't succeeding. No, he definitely is a nod, baby. Because when it comes to physical media love, sometimes I have a leg up on the competition. Sometimes I do. Other times, I'm the underdog. Sometimes, not gonna lie, it does pay to be the underdog at times. And when it comes to physical media, it has been a little bit of an underdog from time to time, but it always bounces back. My hero. Oh, I love physical media, baby. Just when you think it's out, it ends up bouncing right back. And you definitely got to appreciate that. You definitely do, man. And I truly, truly love that, man. And when it comes to the indie weirdness, just when you think you're pulled out of it, oh, Walmart ends up coming back and giving you some more weird, bizarre oddities. Definitely worth checking out. The Walmart weirdness is back again, baby. Oh, indeed it is. With more weirdness and odd and bizarreness. I just can't help myself. I love this shit, guys. I truly do. Let's dive in, shall we? With the first thing I'm seeing, and that's none other than Monsters of War. There's nowhere to hide. Ah, shit. Oh, no. Damn. I can't hide anywhere? Man, I'm fucked. Actually, everybody's fucked. What the hell am I talking about? Oh, giant insects, perhaps? It's definitely looking like it. Following a catastrophic earthquake, May flees her home with her two children. Hiding in a cave for safety, they discover the monsters which have awakened from underground, including gigantic spiders, dinosaurs, and abominations. Taking shelter with a collection of strangers, May and the others must devise a plan to save their town and possibly the world before descending further on the food chain. Oh, yes. You're going low on that totem pole, bitch. On the food chain? Yeah, you definitely are, man. Oh, my God. Giant, gigundous insects. Good Lord, man. You know, back in the day, I would say, what, like the 50s or something like that? They used to make all these giant insect movies. They made a ton of them, and it was all about sort of like nuclear war and the atom bomb and the idea of what it would create, the creatures and the insects that would grow gigantic and attack you. Like that was the big thing back in the day, man. I mean, that was one of the things that made Godzilla what Godzilla is, right? I mean, the whole fear of obviously the atomic bomb and the effects of it, it came from that. So back in the day, that was a big thing. And nowadays, we do get some of those movies, but we got a lot of ones in the past which are really amazing. Like, even though it wasn't gigantic spiders, like arachnophobia. I mean, arachnophobia, they were everywhere and you couldn't escape them, and they were just coming, down the shower and attacking you, and yeah, all over your body. Ugh. It was all over the place, man. Oh, man, just creepy crawlies all over the place, man. But there is other ones that do take on that giant spider tradition. Oh, yes, indeed they do. Such as, oh, and I really love this one, Eight-Legged Freaks. Let the squashing begin. Oh, I love this movie, man. This is such a fun movie. I love the horror comedy aspects to it. I love the gigantic bugs. Oh, it is so so good, man. This is really really great. It's just really just fun, pulpy style fun that I really enjoy, man. I love the hell out of that. This one is really one that I truly dig. I also really love Insect. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Insect. They arise of nothing. They think they kill. Also known as Blue Monkey, by the way. And such a really great horror insect movie. Like the insects have infested this sort of hospital area, and they're all inside, and they're mutating and they're laying their eggs for their offspring to come about. Like, oh, it's so good, man. Oh, such really great effects in here, and the gore and the kills, so great. I love the shit out of this one. That's a really great one that I really do dig, man. I also have to show some love to Love and Monsters. Yes. I've talked about this one a time or two, but I got to admit how much I really do appreciate this movie, man. I just think this is fun. It's quirky. It's got some really great characters, some really awesome kills, and I love the idea of these giant insect bugs that are attacking people, man. I love the design of them. I love how huge they get, and the whole like sci-fi apocalypse angle to it. I thought it was a really fun movie, a really great, genuine bug attacking you type of movie, man, with some cool kills and some fun characters that I really do appreciate, man. That one is really, really cool. I definitely, definitely dig that one in a big bad way, man. I truly, truly do. That one is really, really fun. Love the hell out of that. I also got to give some love to Starship Troopers. When you're talking about bug movies, you gotta talk about Starship Troopers, man. It is so effing good. It really is, man. Oh, the gigantic bug kill every last one of them. A good bug is a dead bug. I love it, man. It is so ridiculous. It is so cheesy. It is so over the top with the acting and the dialogue and everything, but the kills are so amazing, and the way the bugs get you and attack you and rip you apart and suck your brain out. Oh, man. So good. It's so great, dude. Oh, if you've never seen Starship Troopers, man, you got to get on that. That is amazing. Gotta love that. That is really fantastic. I also got to give love to one more, man, and that is none other than, oh, yes, Dead End. Oh, man. You know what? I wasn't sure what I was expecting out of this movie. I really wasn't. I was like, okay, they're sort of has-been rockers going to Coachella. They accidentally end up like stumbling across these ants, and now they're attacking them, and I'm like, I don't know. But it was really super fun, incredibly entertaining, wacky, ridiculous, but man, did I have a lot of fun with this. And I just love the huge, gigantic ants and all the comedy that comes from that. These old aging rockers trying to survive these killer ants. There's something about that that's cheesy, but it works in this movie. It really does, man. I mean, hell, even Tom Arnold is good in this thing. And that's saying a lot, man. It really does. It's just a all around fun ass movie. It really is. And it kicks all kinds of ass. Did I ever think a movie about a giant ant that stars Tom Arnold would he be good? No. But here we are, man. And this thing is actually pretty damn entertaining, all things considered, man. It really, really, truly is. So there is, I got to admit, a lot of killer insect type of movies. I mean, there's a hell of a lot more. I mean, Kingdom of Spiders, anybody? Yeah, that's some really good shit, and a hell of a lot more, man. Some really, really fun stuff out there to really dive into for a killer insect lover. And I guess one more to chew on as well. Huh, interesting. I mean, mind you, it definitely has some big insect shoes to fill, I suppose. It does, but it looks kind of cool and interesting. It's got looks like some cool effects in there, and if it's a cool little fun adventure type of movie, then I can dig it. This looks a little bit more serious. I like it when it's a little more tongue in cheek. I can kind of go with it a little bit more, but if you're gonna go for it for the horror element, honestly, you gotta really bring it, man, because let's be honest, there's been so much done within the killer insect subgenre of horror that if you don't do something clever and interesting, then is it really worth your time? Then again, let's be real. It's always kind of fun to see huge, gigantic insects ripping people apart in gruesome ways. There's something about that that is so instantly cool and so instantly awesome. It just really is. I can't quite explain it, man. I mean, I think it goes back to being a kid and killing insects yourself and then realizing what would happen if the tables were turned. And that sort of fantasy element to it. It is cool. Some movies have done it better than others. A cheesy, low budget, apocalyptic insect movie, well, might be worth a try. I mean, you did have me at killer insects. Sometimes science can fuck up royally. Apparently so. In The Mutation, the search for a cure created a monster. Oh, and that monster is going to attack every single person it sees. Be prepared for death and destruction. Indeed, baby. I do like that cover, man. I definitely do. Reminds me of like covers from the 80s or something. It will never stop killing. Oh, you don't say, huh? What the fuck? Look at that. Jesus, what the fuck is that, man? Jeez. Is that the experiment gone wrong? God help us all. After a deadly experiment on a rat goes wrong, the mutated rat has been let loose in a city and a group of detectives are on the hunt for the beast. As the body count rises, no one is safe, and the rat is growing at a rapid pace. They are all fucked, bro. If the rat looks like that, man, I'm staying away from every fucking sewer I can find. Oh, man. And I'm buying, like, the biggest can of Raid or whatever fucking spray, mousetrap you can find. Fuck it, man. I'll buy them all. Shit. You ain't gonna find any because my ass is gonna buy them all at fucking Home Depot, Lowe's, you name it. Wherever they sell rat traps, my ass is buying them, bitch. Oh my god, it certainly is. Holy shit. The Mutation, huh? Oh my lord. You know, there is some very interesting movies about killer rats, right? One that comes instantly to mind is Deadly Eyes. Oh my god. That is such a really great one. It's cheesy as shit because actually the giant rats are actually dogs that are dressed up in rat costumes. But it's so fun, man. It's really great. I love it. Cheesy as shit, but such a fun one. And there's another one that I really like too, which I really actually dig. And that is none other than one I really enjoy, and that is Graveyard Shift. Yes. Oh my god, man. Let me tell you something. Anybody on the Graveyard Shift? Man, God bless your heart, because I ain't doing that shit. Especially if it's in a Stephen King movie. Yeah, fuck that, man. Damn. This movie, it's not really the best Stephen King adaptation of all time, and certainly it's not on many people's best of Stephen King list, okay? I get it. But I tend to really enjoy this one. I truly do. And it has this really icky factor of these people going in and doing this work in this factory. And it's just completely overrun by rats. Just rats everywhere. You can't even escape them in a single room. They're just infested everywhere, man. God damn, dude. You just can't get rid of these fuckers. And there's something that's really killing all of the workers. And once it's revealed, it's sort of this weird rat bat creature, some weird combo thing that is hunting these people. It is really weird, man, but I kind of like it. I really dig it. The design is kind of cool, and I just love the idea of just completely being overrun by rats and just the complete and utter factor of it, man. It just sort of gets under your skin. It really works in this film. It's not perfect, but I tend to dig it. I really do, man. That's not a bad one. Not bad at all, actually. And yet another in the infested rat creature genre, you suppose? Oh, okay, sure. Why the hell not, man? It kind of looks weird and ridiculous and something I would definitely enjoy, but something got me a little bit worried, and that's the actual rat itself. It looks CGI, man. It looks like it's completely and utterly CGI, and that's all it is. So it's this weird CGI rat that's just walking around killing people, and it kind of takes the joy out of watching the movie, man. There's something about old school practical effects of seeing these things come to life. And yeah, maybe a little bit cheesy, but I tend to enjoy that instead of this big CGI thing. And you know that these indie films, they don't have the budget to make something look realistic like it's fucking Jurassic Park or some shit. That's never gonna happen. You know it's gonna be shoddy and shitty. It just really sucks, man. Like I said, I'm up for a cool killer rat movie, as long as I'm not the one getting killed. But a CGI rat, if I'm getting attacked by anything, I want it to be live and in charge and something that I can actually touch and something that can actually rip my flesh apart. I know, I'm just weird like that. If I was locked up and I saw a Bronson lookalike, hell, I try to escape too. With Escape from Death Block 13, Framed, Locked Up, and Out for Revenge. Yes, with Robert Bronzi. Now, if you don't know about Robert Bronzi, look this guy up, right? Because he is almost a dead ringer for Charles Bronson. I mean, seriously, look at that, man. Damn. I mean, let's be real. If I didn't tell you at certain moments, and this wasn't exactly a newer movie, you might not know the difference. He is practically a dead ringer for the dude. Seriously, that's fucking eerie, man. And he has been literally making a living doing these cheesy, ridiculous movies as this sort of Bronson lookalike. Now, look, if you look like Bronson, why not fucking take advantage of it? I mean, seriously, I can't quite blame the guy. I mean, really, I'd do the same damn thing, man. If I look like a celebrity, hell, I try to cash in on the shit. So can't quite blame the guy for that, man. But he's made a few movies here and there. I mean, it was first one that really caught people's attention was Death Kiss, where they were like, oh my god, this is like an absolute Bronson ripoff movie with a guy that looks like Bronson. really fucking eerie, man. But he's been kind of making a few films here, a few films there, and aping off of his own face. Give the guy some credit, hey, man. I think we'd all do the same. Let's be real, man. But this is an interesting movie. I think it's more of like this escape from prison film, isn't it? As the death of his brother travels to America to seek justice, wrongly convicted of extortion and attempted murder, Mick is sent to Pleasant Hill Penitentiary's notorious Death Block 13. Yes. But if anybody can break out, it's a Charles Bronson ripoff lookalike. Oh, sure. If you can't get the real thing, you get the knockoff. Ah, indeed you do. Seething with revenge after discovering the truth behind his brother's death, Mick's rage ignites an explosive riot that gives him an opening for a last-ditch effort to escape from Death Block 13. Yeah. You're damn right, man. If I'm hanging with anyone in prison, it'd be a Charles Bronson ripoff. Ain't gonna lie, man. Escape from prison movies. There are so many of them. I mean, you could say The Great Escape, which is a really great one. Of course, you could say Escape Plan. The first one, folks, which is the only good one. Let's be real, man. Even Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash is really great sequences of them in prison and escaping. Love that shit. But one of my favorites, one of my ultimate favorites of all time, and it is pretty damn good, dare I say, man. It doesn't have a Charles Bronson look-alike, so, well, it doesn't have that going for it, but it does have Stallone, and that alone is pretty damn good, and that is none other than Lock Up, baby. Oh, yes, Lock Up. When you're behind bars, all bets are off. You bet your ass they are. Oh, man. I love this movie so much, man. I love Donald Sutherland as the warden and how he's just trapped in there and he's just fighting for his life all the fucking time, dude. It is so good and Stallone is so great in it. It's not really considered among many people like the best of Stallone, but damn, is it a solid movie, man. Go back and check this movie out. It is a really great prison film. Love the shit out of that. I really do, dude. I mean, there's a lot of really great other prison stuff out there. I mean, obviously the TV show Prison Break, and I love the old school HBO show Oz. There is a few things here and there, man, but you got to appreciate a little Charles Bronson knockoff love, though. You really do. You combine that with an escape from prison flick, you might have indie gold. You just might, man. Fight or die with that guy. I'm riding and dying all the way, baby. You can guarantee that. He may not be the real thing, but he's pretty damn close. Oh, he is, man. I would be kind of interested in it just for the Bronson ripoff angle. Something about that kind of piques my fancy. It's not nearly going to be as good as some of the other ones, and not nearly as good as Lockup. But if you go in expecting sort of this cheesy escape from prison Bronson knockoff, then you might be pleasantly surprised. I mean, hell, why wouldn't you? It's fake Bronson. And if you can't get the real thing, you know what? I'll take the off-brand. If I was in a lockdown with Tony Todd from the coronavirus, shit, I'd probably take my chances with the corona. Damn, with the lockdown hauntings, with the horror legend Tony Todd. How do you stop a serial killer who's already dead? Well, I hate to say it, you don't. You just fucked. You indeed are, man. Oh, look at how evil Tony looks. Yes. You badass motherfucker. Oh, yes. What is this about? With the streets empty, free from activity of humans and machines, it is not just nature that takes advantage of the unprecedented time. Spirits are free to roam, some harmless, but some with evil intent. One spirit in particular, a notorious serial killer, is back from the dead, with more potential victims than ever before. Can the paranormal experts and detectives piece together how to prevent more young women isolated and alone during lockdown from becoming another victim of the lockdown hauntings? Yes. Set and shot during the global lockdown for COVID-19 by award-winning director Howard J. Ford and featuring horror legend Tony Todd. Oh, the ladies are getting killed one by one. Perhaps Mr. Todd is feasting on his victims yet again, like he has before, because let's be real, he's a legend. He's a legend because, of course, you guys know it. Candyman. 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 And I don't want to say too many of them. He may be around. No, I'm not gonna say it. No. No way, man. Not doing it, bro. Not doing it at all, man. And by the way, he also played a version of Death in the Final Destination series, which, by the way, I could see Tony Todd playing Death. I really could. He's good at it. He really is, man. He truly is, dude. So Tony Todd in a horror film, that already piques my interest, man. But it also ends up being directed by Howard J. Ford, which he directed a pretty good zombie movie. One I actually really dig and enjoy quite a bit. And that is none other than The Dead. Yes, this was a really good little indie zombie flick. I really enjoyed this. This sort of military guy that ends up getting in the desert and he's trying to survive against the zombie apocalypse that's happening around him. It's actually a pretty solid little film. Apes off of other zombie flicks, but I love the makeup effects. I like the gore stuff, the survivable, like apocalyptic stuff that they did in the desert. I appreciated that, man. I thought it was pretty solid. Actually, a pretty cool little story that was good. So if he's directing it, I might have to give it a chance because I do like some of his work. I mean, The Dead 2 wasn't all that good, but hey, can't win them all. The first one was solid, though, and I do appreciate that. So him and Tony Todd together, one directing, one starring, that would pique my interest, and also piques my interest, obviously, the COVID-19 lockdown movies. We are getting more of those, actually a lot more. Honestly, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I think over the years, the next few years even, we're gonna get a lot more of them. I mean, we've already seen some. The more popular one was that movie Host, where it was sort of that webcam, they were being haunted by some spirit type of movie. It wasn't really the greatest film. I didn't actually love it, but it was infamous for being shot during the COVID-19 lockdown. And there's been a whole lot of other movies, man. There's a thriller called Coronavirus that came out. There's another one called Love in the Time of Corona. I mean, I swear to God, these are real movies. Look them up. I'm not lying, man. They actually do exist. And there was that other movie that I really loved called Songbird, which was really cool. I don't know whether it was actually made during the lockdown or not, but it's about like a COVID virus and how everybody is locked in and everything. So it's very timely in that way. There's been a lot of these type of movies, man, and honestly, we're just gonna see a lot more. I mean, can you really blame filmmakers for doing this? I mean, it's really ripe for great storytelling, whether it's horror or romance or something like that. I mean, it's a good idea that could spawn some really interesting movies. Yes, some of those movies could be pure crapola. Maybe the Lockdown Hauntings might be, but every now and again, we may get something really interesting dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic and a movie that kind of takes advantage of it. But honestly, the Lockdown Hauntings is not the first, and by the way, it definitely is not going to be the last. We're going to see a lot more of these, but to see one with Tony Todd in it, if I was in a lockdown with Tony Todd, let's just put it this way. I'd put my head between my legs, and I'd kiss my ass goodbye. I think it would be appropriate, guys, especially if I'm hanging with Tony. That guy is pure death. He truly is, man. Oh, but this is a true spectacular of weirdness and bizarreness indeed. Oh, it always is with the second Walmart. And this week, definitely didn't disappoint. You know, if an earthquake ended up happening and revealing huge, gigantic spiders, I just want to apologize, Lord. Okay, I want to apologize because I didn't mean to kill all those spiders in the apartment here. I mean, it wasn't my fault. My girlfriend wanted me to kill them. I mean, I was gonna take them outside and give them a happy life. My girlfriend wanted me to do it. It's her fault. Don't blame me. I'm not the one to blame. My girlfriend. She's the one that made me kill them. If anyone's to blame, my girlfriend is. Oh yeah, I was gonna do the right thing. Yes. Don't take me, Lord. We go from gigantic spiders to mutated rats. Why? And if you can't get the real Bronson, the fake one will do just fine. And if I was in lockdown with Tony Todd, hell, I'd be scared too. Oh, man. Oh, look at the Walmart weirdness and craziness this time around, man. Oh, baby. A lot of ridiculousness. Oh, all in one gigantic package. God help us all. You know how the Walmart love does it. And this time around, definitely, it didn't disappoint, baby. And neither does physical media. The weird, the bizarre, the ridiculous, the blockbusters, the physical media has it all, and any week can always be quite interesting with what you can find, and Walmart definitely proves that. Oh, indeed it does, baby. I hope you enjoyed all the Walmart madness. I definitely did, but we have to go to one more location. Let's hope for more interesting media ahead. All right, everybody, we are at our fourth and final location, and when it comes to physical media, the Beast may be the place to be. It may just be. Maybe. You know where we are, guys. We are at none other than the Beast Best Buy. The Beast, baby. Oh, yeah. Very interesting week for physical media. Some solid releases out. Been pretty good so far. What will Best Buy have in store for us? Well, let's hope for exclusive love. Let's hope for new release love. Let's hope for a surprise or two. The Beast sometimes surprises us and sometimes lets us down. What will we experience this week? How about we go in and find out? All right, everybody, we are in at Best Buy under the new releases. We got a hell of a lot of MCU love right in the front, baby. We got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the DVD for $19.99, the Blu-ray digital for $24.99, some 4K love for $29.99, but oh, that's not it. You thought it was it? So did I, until we got a little Best Buy Steelbook love. Yes, for $34.99, the 4K Blu-ray digital. Oh, look at this, limited edition Steelbook love. That is so sweet, baby. That is so sweet. Oh, nice. Look at that. Oh, and on the inside, father and son battling it out. Oh, I love that. That is some nice shit, man. Usually, I'm not gonna lie, once I get to Best Buy, I'm usually missing out on the Steelbook love one way or another. Black Widow, anybody? Yeah, I missed out on that one, but miss out no longer. Damn glad they have this in. They must have gotten a lot of stock in of it. I mean, it is MCU, it is Disney, it is Marvel. Yeah, they're definitely going to stock this shit. I'm surprised it hasn't sold out already, but also kind of glad, too. I get to see it, finally. Not bad. Shang-Chi right in the front, looking one badass MCU superhero motherfucker. Absolutely, baby. Nice. Shang-Chi, man. You know, I gotta say this, right? I'm very curious to see where Marvel goes, where this next phase takes us, right? Because, as I said earlier, I think a lot of people want to bounce from the MCU, especially after Endgame. And I can't quite say that I blame them, because Avengers Endgame, if you really put it into context, it's a great finale of 10 years worth of Marvel goodness, right? I mean, of the storylines and everything like that, it wrapped it up in a really satisfying way. And so, why do you need anything more past that, essentially? This is true. I can't quite blame them, guys, honestly. For people who want to cut and run, get out. But I almost feel that this phase is really exciting, because they're retransforming the MCU right in front of our eyes. Whether it's Spider-Man No Way Home coming up, the Eternals, even Black Widow reinventing certain context of the widow herself and people who are around her that will go on to other stories and other adventures, and Shang-Chi as well. Honestly, I trust in my Lord and Savior, Kevin Feige. I honestly do. And I know that a lot of people feel like maybe we're going in the wrong direction with the MCU. I think the problem here is that from this point on, the MCU is going to get much more fantastical, much more mythical, and very bizarre and out there, and at times maybe a little bit of disconnection, right? I mean, in this movie, especially towards the end, you have mythical creatures and you have dragons, and to a certain extent, I think some people would probably be like, look, I'm gonna check out, right? But I think Marvel has been very smart to slowly but surely backdoor some of this stuff in, right? If you look at Thor, Thor is Greek mythology, space stuff. They were able to backdoor that in a really pleasant way. Avengers really brought space more to the forefront. Then, of course, you backdoor that into even more stranger stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy. And so we're starting to get more weirder and odder stuff the further along we get into the movies and into the MCU. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's been a progression, but the more grounded superheroes have kind of taken a back seat in a lot of ways. And so I'll be very curious how we're going to meld everything together. How do you bring the TV show stuff in with the movie stuff? How do you bring a character like Falcon in with the Eternals? How do you bring Shang-Chi in with, you know, a character like Spider-Man? How do you go about all of this? And I think Kevin Feige has done it in a really pleasant way, a really surprising way, and in some ways, a pretty magnificent way of doing all of this. Because I got to admit, man, I've had my doubts from time to time with the MCU. I remember when everyone was like, okay, we're leading up to the Avengers, and I'm like, dude, I don't believe it until I see it, man. I really don't. I'm like, how can they do this? How can they bring all of these characters together in one satisfying movie? And they pulled it off. And the same thing with Thanos. I'm like, Thanos is a really amazing villain. How are you really going to pull this off, this epic storyline? And they did it. It's the same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. I was worried. I was like, how are you going to bring the Guardians of the Galaxy into the big screen? It's such an oddity. How are you going to make it translate? And it works. So there's been moments here and there where I have been disappointed by the MCU, but a lot of moments where I've been really pleasantly surprised, and moments where I've really doubted, and I've got to learn, do not doubt in the Marvel gods. Why would I ever do that now? Seriously, man, why? Shang-Chi is a really great example of that. Of taking a character that is out in the fringes, not very popular, not as many people really know about it, and bringing it to the forefront, bringing it to a certain amount of popularity where people can really appreciate the film and bring that character a little bit more prominence than it otherwise would have had. So I do appreciate that, man, and I do really like the idea of including the Iron Man mythology in there, the 10 rings, the Mandarin stuff, and sort of doing a great way of connecting it to the mythology, connecting it to the MCU. Whether it's, you know, little connections to Doctor Strange or the Incredible Hulk, I appreciate those things. It really makes the world a little bit more unique and interesting, and seeing things sort of connecting, it's kind of cool, man. I really do dig that a lot. So for me, I thought this was awesome. I thought this was really great, man, and I would definitely be interested in more adventures with Shang-Chi, man. To take a character like this that's really not all that popular, a character that really most people probably don't even really know or probably never even thought they'd see on the big screen, and really make something really great and wonderful and action-packed and exciting. It's just the way Kevin Feige rolls, baby. It's just the way he does, and he's been doing it for a long while. And this is another one of those examples that is the reason why Kevin Feige gets paid the big 12 bucks. Way more than I do, put it that way, guys. The man deserves it. You do get a lot of great special features. Deleted scenes, gag reel, family ties, building a legacy, audio commentary. Nice. Not bad at all, man. Like I said, I don't know where the MCU is going, right? I don't know how everything is going to fit at the end of the day. Am I worried about going more mystical and fantastical and doing more crazy things like dragons and mythical creatures? Yeah, I am. I'm a little bit skeptical of it. But at the same time, I've been skeptical of a lot of ideas that have ended up being really amazing at the end of the day. So I guess what I'm saying is sit back, relax, wait and see, because our Lord and Savior most likely will surprise us yet again. You know what, guys? I'm thinking about checking my girlfriend. You know, any potential multiple personalities, something in the back of her head. Better safe than sorry, right? You're damn right it is. Women can be crazy anyways, but this takes it to a whole new level with a Blu-ray digital of Malignant for $22.99. Oh man, a little James Wan goodness. Oh yeah, baby. Well, they say it's a new vision of terror. That's what they say. It's kind of interesting because I was reading a lot of articles, right, on the movie, and one of the articles was like, this is a brand new vision of horror. It's something we've never seen before. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we've seen this before, man. The Dark Half? Secret Window? Basket Case? Hell, Harry Potter even did it, man. So, we've seen it before. It's nothing new. Maybe taken to a different level, sure, but we've seen it before, man. But honestly, the thing with James Wan is that he is a huge fan of 80s horror, and you could honestly tell that he is, man. I mean, you look at his films, and it's almost like 80s horror reinvented. You look at something like Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon, and it feels like Bronson. It feels like Death Wish. Dead Silence feels like it came right out of the Charles Band era with Dolls, or even Puppet Master, somewhere like that. You look at Insidious or The Conjuring, and you could tell that he's a huge fan of Poltergeist and those type of movies back in the 80s. So he is a big fan of 80s horror, you can tell. And with this movie, he goes a little bit more into the obscure 80s horror than more mainstream 80s horror. But you could tell that he's a fan of it, man. And I do appreciate that. I don't know if the movie exactly 100% worked out the way that he was hoping for, but I gotta tell you, when you're aping off of something like Basket Case, man, that's a really deep cut. I mean, that really is, man. I mean, I know it quite well because I'm a cult horror fan, but for a lot of the mainstream audiences out there, they're watching this thing, and it's probably the first time they've ever really experienced anything like that. Most mainstream audiences have never really experienced Basket Case, okay? And maybe many wouldn't, but I looked at this movie, I'm like, dude, it's so aping off of that. And I'm like, nobody sees it. Well, cult horror fans see it, but mainstream, we're like, wow, this is some new shit. I mean, seriously. But you got to appreciate his love for 80s horror, and he is one of the best voices of modern day horror cinema. He really is, man. Yeah, he has veered away from the franchise at times, like Furious 7, which, by the way, why wasn't that the finale of Fast and Furious, damn it? That really needed to be. Oh, it deserved it so much. Ah, God damn it, man. And he also ended up doing Aquaman, and I know he's going back again for the sequel Aquaman 2, so he does get away from horror from time to time, but like a good horror boy, he definitely comes back to the genre he knows and loves in a big bad way, man. And you definitely got to appreciate that. He has been with horror for such a long time, and he has been one of the biggest influencers of new age horror. Whether ringing in the torture porn era with Saw, obviously the ghostly demonic entities in Conjuring and Insidious, and he continues to really be a great influencer on the genre. And so you really got to appreciate James Wan, man, just as somebody who's willing to go out of his way to do unique things within the horror genre, reinvent 80s goodness for a modern age, and end up doing a movie that apes off of Basket Case. Man, that one's a deep-ass cut. I don't know where he's going next in the horror genre, but I would be very interested to find out. Malignant isn't perfect, but you at least got to appreciate the attempt. You do, man. You do end up getting Malignant, James Wan's visions, just behind the scenes for a look at his latest film. Interesting. Nothing else. I was hoping for audio commentary or something, sort of pick James Wan's brain a little bit. Maybe in a future edition, maybe. But it's an interesting dive into a unique subset of the horror genre where you don't get to see it all the time. Like I said, there's not many within this subgenre of horror, but the ones that are very unique and interesting, and not exactly the greatest movie within the horror genre. Yeah, it split a lot of people in the way they thought about it. Yeah, the second half is much better than the first half, but A for effort, and I gotta give him credit. When he does a horror film, it's always unique, it's always interesting, and it's always James Wan. Very interesting indeed. Very interesting, and no doubt on that, man. Quite interesting indeed. And so is all of the new release love so far. Not half bad, man. Not half bad at all. Let's see what else they got. And then on the other side of the new release love, of course, they still have all of the favorites we've seen as of recent, like Jungle Cruise. Of course, they don't have the Jungle Cruise Steelbook. That looks like it's kind of sold out, actually. Really? Jungle Cruise? Again, the power of Disney. What am I saying, guys? Man, they can sell anything. They could literally wrap a turd in a slipcover and sell that shit. They have done it before, though. They have that. They also have a little Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard Steelbook love, Hitman's Bodyguard. They have a ton of Three from Hell, man. Wow. A ton of that, man. What a great looking Steelbook. I'm surprised this doesn't sell out, man. So good. I know, Rob Zombie love, right? You either love him or you hate him, depending on the movie. This one's pretty good, though. Then they also got Sicario Steelbook 4K love. Great design on that. They still have a little bit more of Hacksaw Ridge. Great war movie, man. Amazing. Of course, they don't have the Steelbook of Free Guy. Of course they don't. But they do have a lot more of the old Steelbook. This is still hanging around, man. This has not sold whatsoever. And it's not really a great M. Night film, and the cover is not exactly the most eye-popping, eye-catching Steelbook of all time. For $34.99, I can see why it's not really selling. Of course, they still don't have that Black Widow Steelbook love. God, I only fucking wish. One of these days it will. Maybe Kevin Feige can call up Best Buy and have him make more. Well, he's good, but he can't do miracles. I only wish. That they also have a little 4K Inglourious Basterds love. Now, I have shown this title off before, but they did not have the Steelbook before. Oh, they finally have the Steely for Inglourious Basterds. That Best Buy exclusive for $25.99. Nice, look at that. Limited edition Steelbook love. I love that, man. Brad Pitt there on top of the bodies holding a gun. Looking badass. I fucking love it, man. I want my scalps. You damn right you do. And you're gonna get them, motherfucker. Oh, man. Like I said, dude, I really dig this, man. It was one that has kind of grown on me over time. At first I watched it, I wasn't too into it, but I've appreciated it more. The dialogue, the characters, the situations. Hitler being gunned down and burned to a crisp. There's something about that that's instantly awesome. Yeah, it is really good, man. One of Tarantino's better later films in his career, man. I mean, I still love movies like Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown, Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, but Inglourious Basterds definitely deserves a hell of a lot of love, man. And this is a really, really sweet steelbook. Not bad at all. Little Inglourious Basterds love. Don't mind if I do. Not bad. $25.99 for a really nice steelbook like that. It's pretty sweet, actually. Not too bad, actually. Not too bad at all, man. Some interesting stuff so far. Let's see if they got anything else. And on the back side, it's looking a little thin for physical media, ladies and gentlemen. Not really anything new I'm seeing. They do, though, have the Jungle Cruise Steelbook in the back here. So it's not in the front, it's more in the back area. And they still got a decent amount of them. So, okay, at least they didn't sell out of them completely. I'm like, really? Disney can sell anything, even some Jungle Cruise Steelbook love. It'll eventually sell out, let's be real. It's Disney. People will eventually eat this shit up. Seriously. It'll sell out eventually. Like I said, it's not a terrible movie, all things considered, but there's so many better films out there, so many better adventure tales. And just watch Indiana Jones. Seriously. They have that. They also end up, and I wanted to show this because this is really interesting to me. They have the Blu-ray digital of Wrath of Man for $22.99. Now, if you didn't watch my Black Friday video, well, first off, why didn't you? And go ahead and do it. But they had it on sale for like $9, $9.99, somewhere around there, and now it's $22.99 for the Blu-ray. Holy shit, man. I am so glad that I got this for that price of $9, $9.99 or something, because my god, man, I love the movie, don't get me wrong, man, but I'm not paying $22.99, and that's the thing about it, right? Because now the prices skyrocket. Like Boss Baby now is $24.99. I saw Night of the Animated Dead for a low price, and now that's back up for $19.99. I mean, Spirit Untamed went back up as well. I know some of the Spiral stuff went up too. I mean, even that Harry Potter steelbook, I think, was a low price on Black Friday, and that's went up as well. So, yeah, pretty much, it's kind of crazy to think that you really do need to take advantage of some of those deals on Black Friday because, like, that weekend, once it's over, dude, you are paying out the ass now for some of these titles that you could have got for way, way lower money, man. $22.99 for Wrath of Man. Like I said, fucking amazing film. Jason Statham is fucking kick-ass in it. I'm just so glad that I paid a low price, man. Less than $10, and now pay almost that. That is nuts, dude. That is crazy, crazy nuts. Just saying, man. That's wild. But something else I'm noticing, right? I mean, crazy, wild, ridiculous, overpriced movies after Black Friday. Yeah, that's the thing, guys. But they also have... Holy shit, they have the Total Recall Steelbook for $12.99. Now that's a deal. Wrath of Man? Yeah, no way. But this is a fucking steal, dude. Look at this. Ooh, this is nice. The Best Buy exclusive Steelbook. So good. Oh, man. I mean, I've seen the regular 4K out in the market, and I know that this has existed, but I don't think I've ever really seen it in store before. And for $12.99, I mean, come on, man. You got to admit, that is an amazing, amazing steal for 4K Steelbook love. This is such an amazing movie. Get your ass to Mars. Whatever you say, Arnold. Oh, man, dude, the effects in here, Arnold's overacting, the cheesy one-liners. But, I mean, Sharon Stone is a hot bad guy. Oh, my God. She could kill me any day of the week. She seriously can, man. And let's be real. One of my favorite things, the 3 boobs. Am I alone, folks? Please tell me I'm not. Oh, man. Dude, this movie is so good, man. It's cheesy, it's ridiculous, it's over the top, the action is wild, but I so fucking love it, man. Paul Verhoeven, man, when he makes a movie, man, he makes a wild fucking movie, and this is some wild stuff, man. But I so love it, man. I really do. I mean, you compare this movie to the remake, and it's night and day. The remake is the standard mundane garbage, and Total Recall, the old school one, is so vibrant and weird and quirky, and it's just so much more memorable in every single way, man. One of Arnold's best, I'm telling you. And that 4K love on Steelbook form, Best Buy exclusive, that is some really, really good shit. Just saying, man, that is amazing stuff. It is well worth it for any fan of Arnold, Paul Verhoeven, all that sci-fi weirdness. And how many movies really have chicks with 3 boobs? Seriously, how many? Not many at all, man. But you want to know what? Total Recall can say they got it. They definitely can, man. And God bless them for it. Oh, Lord, man. $12.99, that is a fucking steal, man. If you don't pick that shit up if you see it, there's something wrong with your ass. Oh, there is indeed. Don't pick up Wrath of Man for $22.99. Pick up Total Recall for $12.99. You won't regret it. Oh, you won't indeed, man. Not bad at all. Not bad for all that physical media love. Not bad at all. I'll definitely take it. Let's head out. So what if I told you that post-Black Friday is almost as crazy as pre-Black Friday? And what I mean by that is Best Buy doing all of their cleanup. They're putting everything away in their proper places. The ladder is literally in my way now. I mean, literally, they're putting everything in its proper places, taking displays down, you name it, guys. The sale is good, but the cleanup's a bitch. Indeed it is. Every single time, man. But with all of the cleanup that's going on and putting everything away, Best Buy still had time to put some physical media love on the shelves, man. Not as crazy plentiful as I thought it was going to be, but still, we got that exclusive, wonderful Steelbook love. We got some surprise sales going on. Sometimes, let's be real, Best Buy doesn't always supply all the greatest physical media love that we want. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But this time around, I think they did a pretty decent job. I mean, hey, you have the big new release of the week, you have the Steelbook love, and a few other extra steelies in there as well. Us physical media lovers, sometimes we're not always easy to please, but that's only because we expect the best, guys. So, yeah, sometimes it's a tall order to please us movie lovers out there, but I think this time around, I think Best Buy did a pretty decent job overall. Not perfect, but can it ever really be? I doubt it, guys. But they did pretty well regardless, man. As did most stores overall. Not bad for the physical media goodness this time around. How about we get out of the employees' way so they can continue to do the cleanup of all that Black Friday madness and head home to finish the video. Alright, everybody, that'll do it for the Blu-ray and DVD out and about video this week. And wow, it was actually really damn good, man. For a post-Black Friday week, it truly delivered. I mean, not crazy, massive, huge amount of physical media kind of week, but pretty damn solid. I actually think it was, man. I mean, usually post-Black Friday weeks aren't exactly this good. You were getting out of that Black Friday hangover. We've spent a lot of money. We're kind of drunk and don't know what to do with ourselves. So post-Black Fridays are not usually like, hey, we're going to have this mega, big, huge release. And damn, they just decided, you know what, fuck it. We're just going to put out Shang-Chi. We're going to put out a couple of titles, man, and we're going to get it rolling. Because if you spend money on Black Friday, well, guess what? You're spending more, goddammit. And they were right. They were right, man. I think a lot of people are going to be spending more cash, man. Physical media, man, it just keeps rolling. But I'm so glad about it. I really am, man. The train is not stopping. It's continuing to roll each and every week, man. Hangovers be damned. Oh, man. It was good. It truly was good. Not crazy, huge, plentiful, but enough out there to definitely whet the physical media appetite. That is for damn sure, guys. Hopefully you guys picked up something good. If you did, definitely let me know. As far as I'm concerned, well, Well, first off, I did not pick up Shang-Chi. Now, I know a lot of you guys are like, you didn't pick up Shang-Chi? I will. Just not yet. I'm gonna get it, trust me. You will see it in the next, like, out and about or two that I'm gonna be doing, so I will be getting it. Just not quite yet. I'm getting it from somewhere else. Not quite in the stores. But I am getting it, so stay tuned on that, guys. But yes, of course I'm gonna get Shang-Chi. It's Marvel. I own the Marvel movies, the MCU catalog. Why wouldn't I pick up Shang-Chi? It is gonna be in the collection. Promise. But I'm saving that. But I did pick up some really good stuff, man. Now, at Best Buy, they had some really great steelbooks. They truly did, man. Things that I was kind of like, oh, they have that? And I picked up one of them. And that is none other than Inglorious Bastards. Yes. I want my scalps. Oh, yeah, baby. Inglorious Bastards. And on the back, look at that. Ooh. Pretty sweet. Not gonna lie, man. That's pretty good. So, I have never owned this in the collection. And I was thinking one day if I was gonna buy it, I was maybe gonna hold out on the steelbook. Well, hold out no longer because they did have the steelbook, man, and it does look really sweet. It looks really, really great. Perfect condition. And I gotta say something about Quentin Tarantino, right? I really do love Quentin Tarantino. I mean, truly, I do. Here's the deal, though. I like early Tarantino. I like everything up to the Kill Bill films. And after the Kill Bill films, there's a little bit of a disconnect for me. His later catalog, I'm not as much of a fan. I don't know, some of the Grindhouse stuff he did, not much of a fan of that. I wasn't really a fan of Django. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, yeah, outside of the really great ending, really didn't do much for me, and some of the other stuff, not so much. I think out of his later catalog, Inglourious Basterds, at least for me, is probably my favorite out of the later stuff. It still doesn't really, in my opinion, compare to like a Pulp Fiction or a Jackie Brown, Reservoir Dogs, something like that, but I still think it's a damn solid movie with great dialogue, great characters, great situations, action is amazing. Give Quentin Tarantino a lot of credit. He's not perfect as a director, but man, he is just one of those directors that you really want to see what he does next, man. And Inglourious Basterds, at first, I wasn't a huge fan of the movie, and it took me a while to sort of warm up to it. More watches, but once I really warmed up to it, I really did. And this thing is really fantastic. Brad Pitt is awesome in it. Everybody does a bang-up job. Christoph Waltz, fantastic. It's really, really good, man. And deserving to be in the collection for the Quentin Tarantino love that I do have. And the Steelbook is definitely mighty tasty. Not bad on the Steelbook love, man. Not bad at all. Figured I'd get it. Why not, man? So I picked up that. Now, I did leave that Total Recall Steelbook behind. Oh, I did kind of want it. I'm not going to lie, I did, but I'm going to hold back. And the reason why I am is because I already own Total Recall on 4K. I have the regular edition. I didn't need the Steelbook. As cool as it is, and trust me, man, it is really cool, I've got to learn to sort of hold back a little bit. I got to learn to do it. It's not easy doing that. When you're a physical media collector, you see something really cool, the mentality is you gotta have it. And sometimes I can't resist. Truly, I can't. I have enough in the collection to know that I cannot resist. But I gotta learn to sort of maybe pull back a little bit and say, okay, yes, I do want it, but do I really, really need it when there's other purchases out there that I really do want? And so I held back on it. Hey, there's somebody who's going to go to Best Buy, be really surprised, and pick it up for a great price. It's well worth it, man. So I held back. Lord knows I didn't want to, but I decided why the hell not. So I did hold back. It wasn't easy. Wasn't easy at all. But I also ended up picking up through Orbit DVD some more Orbit DVD love in the collection. And that is not in the Blu-ray of Come True. Oh, yeah, man. So I talked about this movie a few weeks ago in the Out and About when I was talking about the DVD, and I had watched it. And I really did love this movie. Enough where I wanted the Blu-ray of it. I truly did, man. I mean, and the same artwork is on the inside as well, so it's nothing really different or anything. But I really dug this movie. I love the idea of dreams and the subconscious and what's going on inside your mind and how you process a lot of things. It's so fantastic, so thought-provoking. I love the sci-fi themes. It really was very imaginary and creative, and I really dug this one a lot, man. I truly did. It's not a perfect movie, but I gotta tell you, I think it hit me in all the right areas where I really dug it, man. And so this is a really good one. I love it. I thought it was really good, and it really makes you think after watching the movie. Not every movie really does that, but for me, I love being engaged in movies. I love having to be not fed everything on a silver platter. Sometimes, stuff lingers in your head after you watch it, and this is one of those movies, and I think it really gives off really great conversations that you can have with people, and even with yourself, like what was real, what wasn't, what was inside her head, etc., etc. There's so many great ideas in this film, and I really loved how they went about it. So for me, Come True was something that I really thought was pretty damn cool, man, and I definitely had to have in the collection. And with the slip, not half bad, man. So I got that. And the other thing I ended up getting from Orbit DVD, and this is a little Kino Lorber love, Michael J. Fox love, no less. And that is For Love or Money, baby. Yes. He thought there was nothing as seductive as money. He was wrong. Oh, he indeed was, man. Oh, do you guys remember this movie? You probably don't, because to be honest with you, if you are a fan of Michael J. Fox, you know the classics, right? Obviously, you know Back to the Future, and you know Family Ties, and you know, obviously, the time he was on Spin City, and there's a lot of other stuff that you've seen here and there. Some of the more underrated Michael J. Fox ones kind of go a little bit under the radar, just a little bit. And I think For Love or Money is one of those, man. I mean, he basically plays this sort of hotel manager, very charming and easygoing guy. Everybody loves him. And he kind of wants to own his own thing. He wants to do his own stuff. And this woman comes into the picture, and he doesn't really have time for that. But the sort of charm of her, and he's sort of smitten with her, and it's sort of this really great romantic comedy. Great comedic elements here, great acting. It's just really charming, really well done. Michael J. Fox is great here. Udo Kier, I forgot he was in here. Michael Tucker, Dan Hedaya. Oh yeah, there's a lot of great people in here, man. I love this. And also directed by Barry Sonnenfeld as well. Barry Sonnenfeld, of course, lest we forget, went on to The Addams Family and Two Men in Black. So that guy's definitely been around a time or two. It's a good little charming Michael J. Fox film. It's not perfect. It's not the best Michael J. Fox. But I think if you're looking for something a little underrated for Mr. Fox's filmography, I think For Love or Money is not bad, actually. It's pretty good. And when I heard Kino Lorber was releasing it, I'm like, wow. This is one I don't think many people are really actually know about or even remember, but I do. But then again, that was like back in like the VHS days, man. So I was eating all that good Michael J. Fox stuff up, man. I mean, Secret of My Success was awesome, and of course, he was also, I believe, in The American President. He's just been a great actor, man. And yeah, people know the popular stuff, but go and check out the less remembered ones. I think you'll be surprised. I mean, Michael J. Fox has charm for days. And it's not just in the popular ones, too. It's even in the more underrated ones that his charm really, really comes out in a big, bad way, man. And this is, I think, one of the good ones. Not bad, actually. A little Kino Lorber love, a little bit more to add to the collection. Not bad at all, man. And not crazy plentiful. Not crazy plentiful at all, but you know what? Some really unique titles that I can't wait to put in the collection. And before I let you guys go, I gotta talk about this. So, because we've been showing off some Marvel love, I gotta definitely talk about this New York Post article that I saw not too long back that I saved specifically for this. Please kill the Marvel Cinematic Universe before it's too late. Seriously? Let's dive in, shall we? In the 2002 film Spider-Man, Peter Parker's Uncle Ben told his nephew, with great power comes great responsibility. What he did not dramatically say was, with great power comes more than 30 films. But that unfortunately is Maniac Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige's misguided interpretation of the comic book Wisdom. Now, this article came out when the Eternals was about to come out, so it's not exactly about Shang-Chi, just about the Eternals and the overall Marvel Cinematic Universe itself. Now, it goes on to say that there are 7 more on-screen clones publicly announced through 2023's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and many others are said to be in development, which sounds less like a plan than a threat. If Marvel continues their Usain Bolt pace of releasing 3 movies a year, by 2029 we'll have 50 of these things. Stop the madness! Oh boy. Yet, why would these addicts pack up shop now? Feige and friends are printing money. Endgame raked in nearly $2.8 billion, that's with a B, worldwide, for the evil little mouse, Disney, and crazed fans are still slobbering over capes and spandex, if not with the same intensity as they did with Black Panther and Avengers Endgame, briefly the highest grossing film of all time. Those 2 films, however, also marked the franchise's peak of quality. Black Panther, lest we forget, was nominated for Best Picture back in 2019. The article also goes on to say, yes, I know the recent Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings was very good and Black Widow was fine. However, and deep down you know this, Marvel fans, the MCU's best days are behind it. Before the pandemic, we were being force-fed flavorless Soylent Green like Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and the Wasp, and there will be more uninspired crapola. So much more. Really. Getting out when the getting is good and ensuring a legacy goes against our modern more mentality. Instead, we wring out every last penny from something until it dies a pathetic death. Over at Disney, they've turned Star Wars into the never-ending story and are forcing Harrison Ford to play Indiana Jones again at 79 years old. Okay, that is pretty bad, man. The guy already looked exhausted when he made Crystal Skull 13 years ago, but it's Disney who's holding the whip now. It wasn't always that way. Seinfeld went off the air in 1998 as one of TV's most popular shows. In 2002, tennis player Pete Sampras retired shortly after he won the U.S. Open. Harper Lee wrote just one great novel with To Kill a Mockingbird. Here's Uncle Johnny's advice. There's a real dignity in walking away on top, or flying, such as the case may be. Oh, is it now? Apparently, it is, guys. Oh, yes. Let's talk about it, shall we? So, is this person right, or are they wrong? Now, they have a certain actual reasoning that I kind of get behind, right? Because I have been through a lot of franchises in my time so far as being a movie lover, and I've seen a lot of franchises really go down the crapper when they never had to, right? There are so many of them, and unfortunately, we're still experiencing it. You look at something like Fast and Furious, right? Yes, some people did like Fast 9, fair enough, but you have to admit that it's not going in the best direction it possibly could. If they don't fix some of the issues now, that's a franchise that's going downhill and going downhill hard. Okay? I mean, we talk about the Indiana Jones series. I was fine with the first 3 films. I thought after The Last Crusade, I'm like, that's a great way to end the Indiana Jones series. A great trilogy, him and his father. Perfect. Fantastic. I'll take it. And then Crystal Skull came out, and then we're like, oh my god, nuke the fridge. It was so bad, man. And then we're like, Okay, well, at least there's that one, right? I mean, there's never going to be another Indiana Jones one, at least let's hope. I think they've learned their lesson. Oh man, there's another one. And it's like, why? Why can't we just stop? And so I understand it, money talks, bullshit walks, and I get it to a certain degree that at a certain point you're just done, right? You're just absolutely fucking done. You can't take it anymore. Dude, I'm out, okay? And yet at the same time, do I agree that that's going on with Marvel? I don't know if I 100% agree with that. Now, I think that Marvel is taking a huge gamble going forward because think about this. As I said earlier, Endgame was a really great way to end it all, right? It was a really phenomenal way to say goodbye, done, over with. We're hitting the high note and we're out. Okay? We're calling it quits. And yet at the same time, I think Kevin Feige actually sees it as a challenge. Kevin Feige sees it as, okay, yes, you have invested all this time in this really wonderful, great journey of all these MCU films, but it's not like the stories are done. And what's always great about the comic books, if you really look back at it, is the fact that there was always really great runs of the comic books. And just because a run had ended one of the comic books, right, and that was done, it didn't mean that the comic books walked away, right? It didn't mean that after a certain run of a Batman comic books, series, that they just said, look, I'm done, I'm out. Yes, there was some that weren't as great, but they continued it, right? You look at some of the stuff that they did with Superman or Captain America and stuff, they had great runs. And then they had a run that maybe wasn't so awesome, but then they kept on going and they found some really creative peaks and valleys. I mean, comic books, just like the comic book movies, are never going to be perfect. They're going to have their highs and they're going to have their lows. But is it worth calling it complete quits? I mean, if I'm Disney, yes, it is about the money because these movies are making so much fucking cash. I mean, think about this right now. The idea that Spider-Man No Way Home, the early ticket sales are outpacing Avengers Endgame. If you are Disney, if you are Marvel and you're seeing that, are you saying, well, I guess after No Way Home, I guess we're going to have to call it quits, right? I mean, no, you don't call it quits. I mean, they're even saying, hey, we're going to do Spider-Man 4, 5, 5, and 6. Why wouldn't they? I mean, if they're still really popular, if people are still really digging it, doesn't it make sense to keep it going? I mean, there is a certain amount of fatigue with comic book movies now, and I think people are starting to maybe kind of not fully embrace everything that's out there in the marketplace. But I think if there's a still certain amount of creativity out there, and I still think that if there's still a great imaginative story and exciting moments and characters that you can root for, then people are still going to go and enjoy these movies. You shouldn't give up completely. I think movies like Shang-Chi really prove that there is still more to do within the MCU. There's still more great characters to showcase, there's still more tales to be told. You have to do it in a way that surprises the audience, in a way that entertains them. You can still do the same formula. I don't think people are tired of the formula. I think some people are just certain tired of gimmicks. And I think sometimes if the story isn't good enough, if you're not telling it in an exciting way, then people don't want to hear it. Why is Thor the Dark World one of the lesser MCU films as far as people are concerned? It's because it wasn't told in an exciting way. It didn't have an exciting villain. It didn't really engage the audience. And people kind of tuned out of that one. But then you look at something like Thor Ragnarok, when people really embrace it. They embrace the comedy, they embrace the characters, they embrace the action. They thought it was a breath of fresh air. Yes, there's still that Marvel formula there, but they were able to do it in a way that surprised people and really engaged them in a really fun way. So On one hand, I agree with what this person is saying. On one hand, I agree, look, we have to know when to quit. We have to know when to say enough is enough, right? Because if we don't, we're going to be the next Fast and Furious franchise, or we're going to be the next Indiana Jones thing, or, we're going to be the next Paranormal Activity. I mean, you name it. I mean, there are so many franchises that should have known when to quit. But they also didn't have somebody like a Kevin Feige. And you have to appreciate Kevin Feige and his willingness to be creative and his willingness to change up the formula and tweak it in a way that feels refreshing and does something new and unique, but yet still has that same old feel to it that we know and love. They didn't have those people, man. And there's something about Kevin Feige, you have to admit, he is the one that is shepherding this whole goddamn thing, man. He really is. And if only that some of these other franchises had this person with them or that person with them. Look at something like the Star Wars movies, right? Look at the Star Wars movies. Look at those early Star Wars films and even the prequels. I mean, yes, people have problems with the prequels, and I get it, and I have a little bit of problems with them, but you had George Lucas 100% of the way. He was always involved one way or another. It was always his vision coming onto the screen. It was uniformly George Lucas. Yes, certain creatives came into the picture, and other people were doing things with the animated shows or the books or the comic books, you name it, but it was all from George Lucas. Everybody was getting their instructions from that guy. So it was uniformly his vision, his universe, his world. Right now, George Lucas is out of the picture. So there really is no 100% person that's shepherding this thing, every single project, every single entity. Nobody is doing it. Yes, some people say Kathleen Kennedy, but I don't fully 100% believe that. I think that there's a little bit here of Jon Favreau, a little bit of Kathleen Kennedy here, a little bit of this person there, a little bit of that person, a little bit of J.J. Abrams, and unfortunately, everybody's got different visions, everybody's got different ideas, and it's not one uniform thing coming together. And I think that's another problem, because again, there's peaks and valleys. There's moments when Star Wars nowadays can be really brilliant. You look at The Mandalorian. And then there's moments like the sequel trilogy where you're like, oof, damn. You're like, that's bad, man. And so unfortunately there's not a unified vision there. And with Kevin Feige, good, bad, ugly, he's got a uniform vision and it's been working in his favor, and you have to give him credit for that. That's why the Marvel formula has worked, is because of that, man, because of that unified vision that continues to stay there, man. Unfortunately, DC doesn't have that, Star Wars doesn't have that, Fast and the Furious doesn't entirely have that either, and there's a lot of these franchises that want to recreate the Marvel formula but just can't do it because they don't have that one vision that everybody is getting behind, and that needs to happen, man. And so I understand where the article is coming from. I understand that at the end of the day, we need to have a moment where we say enough is enough. How many more characters? How many more situations? The stakes are raised so incredibly high that at a certain point it just gets absolutely overwhelming and ridiculous. And I do think at some point, I think there needs to be an exit strategy for Marvel. I really, truly do believe that. There has to be. But are we there yet? I'm not entirely 100% positive we're there yet, because I think there's still a hunger here. There's a hunger for another Black Panther. There's a hunger for more Ant-Man. There's a hunger for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and all these characters coming together. There's a hunger for it, man. And as long as there still is, why would it stop? I do think that at a certain point, I think the fatigue is going to get overwhelming. I think the market is going to get over flooded. And I think at a certain point, we are going to have to call it quits. But in the meantime, I just don't feel that we're there yet. And so, where will this all go? Where will it all end? Who really knows? But at the moment, I'm having fun with it. I'm riding the train, and I'm curious to see where this all goes at the end of the day, man. I don't think we're done yet, not by a long shot, and I don't think Kevin Feige is ready to call it quits. When Kevin Feige is ready to call it quits, I might be out at that point, because then I don't think there's a unified vision that really comes together. But until that happens, I don't think we should kill it yet. I don't think we should, man. I think the train has been rolling great, and when you have some big event like an Avengers Endgame that really satisfies so many storylines and so many characters, you have to push the reset button. And when you do that, you have to end up slowly but surely building back up, man. I mean, we forget that Phase 1 didn't have the most exciting films of all time. They were good, but not nearly as good as what we got in the future. But we had to slowly build up to get to these momentous occasions, these momentous movies. So before we call it quits, before we say we're done, let's see where it's going. And then once we get there, then if we're not satisfied, then we can say it. But I look at Avengers Endgame, I look at Infinity War and all those great movies, and I say, we built up to a really satisfying moment. And if we could do that again, why stop now? It's tough to do, and I don't envy anybody, especially Kevin Feige, for trying to get there. But if he can pull it off yet again, I say, why the hell not? I'm curious as to what you guys think. Definitely let me know. Should they end it? Should they kill it? Should they call it quits? Or should we see if they can pull it off one more time? Definitely let me know, guys. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out the other Blu-ray and DVD out and about videos that I do every single week. The movie reviews with my friends, live streams, movie hunting like Dollar Tree hunts, Blu-ray pickup videos, and so much more. I did end up releasing that great Black Friday video. Oh, yes. Survived yet another Black Friday. Definitely check that video out, plus so much more that's on the channel. And also, if you are a lover of movies and physical media, hit subscribe and become part of the Film Fan Nation. I want to thank my really great subscribers out there. Man, you guys give me great feedback, comments, watch all the videos, really support me, and I truly appreciate it, man. You are one of the reasons why I keep doing this, man, and you give me the love, and hopefully I give the love right back to you. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely do it. Also, click that notification bell so you'll be notified every single time that I make a video. And also, keep up to date with everything I'm doing through Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. FilmFan108, keep up to date with everything I'm doing, plus special pictures and videos I do from time to time on social media as well. And if you want to send the channel any movie-related goodness, care packages, physical media posters, you name it, you can do that. It is not expected, but it is definitely appreciated. And I know you guys have went out of your way to really want to send me some really great stuff. And you guys have sent some phenomenal things my way, and it has been blowing my brains away at how much awesome stuff you guys have sent me. And so if you want to send anything to the channel, you definitely can. The P.O. box is in the description below. And I guess that'll do it for another very unique out and about, man. Always good physical media to check out, and I cannot wait for next week. So I will see you back next time for a brand new out and about. Take care, everybody, and remember, happy hunting.